Hello everybody, this is Carol from Friendly Quail. I'm here for Try Something New Tuesday, and look at all this loveliness. Last week I wasn't here because I had periodontal surgery. I had gum graft, and I still have, I'm still talking a little funny because I have an appliance on the roof of my mouth, and I have a big blob of stuff that looks like bubble gum in front of my teeth on the bottom, and it's the bandage. So if I talking a little funny, that's why. But I had to do something for today, and yesterday I started experimenting, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I saw Gi Kerr, and I will link her video below where she did this. She was using these sprays to dye her bias or seam binding, I mean. So I'm going to get rid of the sign over here. And I had bought this. It's from Amazon. And it was 100 yards. And I have done some dyeing of this before, but I hadn't used her method, so I thought I'd try it. And then I experimented with some other things. So I did get this on Amazon, if you're interested. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it's 100% rayon, which is man-made fiber. So what I did is I cut pieces of this that were a yard, approximately a yard long. And this is just one that I wet, and it's white because I like the crinkly. So I wet it and I crunched it up, and I like that for what I'm using on tags and things. I kind of like that crinkliness. Now, if you don't like it this crinkly, don't crumple it up as closely as I did, or just kind of lay it down to dry. But I like the crinkles. So that one was just white. And then I tried some of her method using Distress Oxide spray, or this one's just a regular Distress spray. And so I had some of this that I had the same color of Distress ink. So like this is Distress Oxide spray in Wilted Violet, and very pretty. As it dries, it wicks to the outsides of the ribbon or the bias seam binding. So you end up getting kind of like a variegated piece. And then this, and I'll show you how to do that method using your regular ink. This was the Distress ink pad. So in some cases, I like the ink pad better, and in some cases, I like the spray better. So it kind of depends on, like, this has a little bit more color from the spray than it did from the ink pad. And but I like them both. And I'm going to start putting these aside because I need to get them out of the way for when I am working on new ones. This was a Distress spray in carved pumpkin. Obviously orange would be good for Halloween journal or a fall journal. And I like how that one turned out a lot. I did this one was a spiced marmalade Distress Oxide, which was a little more yellow than orange, but also pretty. It would be pretty for fall. And let's see, this is pickled or picked raspberry, not pickled. And it's a Distress Oxide spray. Very pretty pink. Okay. And the other one I did, a couple more with the bottles I did. This one was cracked pistachio. With the distressed oxide, you get a little bit more color variation. Like this has green and blue in it because the colors separate a little bit more with the oxide than they do with the just the distress sprays. But very pretty color. And the other one I did with this is candied apple, and I did red, and this will be nice for Christmas. And so a little bit of it is kind of pinkish because the red bleeds out. I did 2 of them because I had so much on my table that I thought I'm doing more. I'm not going to waste it. So I've got a couple of those. And then I did some of my ink pads. And if I had distressed oxide and distressed ink, I did that. So like this one, these are both antique linen. Now the distressed oxide is more yellow looking to me, but very pretty. And this is the distressed ink. It's not as dark. It's, you know, it does have both yellow and kind of greenish colors in it. But it is side by side. You can really tell there's a difference between the oxide and the ink. Oxide, ink. I have this one also in both. This is peacock feathers. Distressed oxide is softer looking color. And again, you get different, you know, with all of these, you get the colors kind of separate out. But this one was lighter than this one. This has some darker spots in it than this one does. But still very pretty, and it's very pale. So this side's oxide. And this side, this is oxide. This is the distress spray. Both pretty again. Let's see, what else did I have? This one I only had distress ink. This is weathered wood, which is kind of a bluish gray. And I do like this color. This is one of my favorites, actually, because it's not gray and it's not really blue, but it's a gray blue. I like that one. This is a Distress Ink Forest Moss. I thought that was very pretty for in botanical things. Very pretty. I'm pulling these over. This is walnut stain. And with walnut stain, you get some green that comes out. So it's kind of tan, and then it's got the greens in it, which I like that too. This is Tattered Rose. So it's a very light pink with some yellowish colors in it. You can tell the difference between, you know, it doesn't look that dark, but when I hold white up next to it, you can see that it does have color. This is another one where I had both. This is Gathered Twigs. And the Distress Oxide Gathered Twigs is a lighter color. It's a little more yellowish colored than the Distress Spray has more of a tan. And in this case, it depends what you're looking for. I did 2 of these too because I had a lot down there. Oxide, more yellow, and the spray is more tan. Like in this case, I like that better, the Distress Ink for sure. This is old paper, which is kind of greenish. So you also get some of the green in there, but you also have kind of a yellowish tinge to it as well. So that's old paper. This one was the closest I thought I came to a Christmas color green that I had, pine needles. And it's a distress oxide, so you get some of the green that comes out. There's some blues in here, but I really liked how that turned out. And then I was just experimenting, and I took a piece and I used the candied apple spray, and I put this down, and I folded this and laid it in it kind of like this, so that I would get some crossover of green and red. But I would have to experiment with it a little bit, because most of it turned out red. But I do have here, this is the green. It didn't get real green because some of the red bled into it, and so it changed the color of the green. This is another one where I had both Distress Oxide and Distress Ink. Distress Oxide Lost Shadow. It's a gray, and it's very subtle gray. But again, you can, where did I put the white one, original white one here? It's not that much different than the white, but it does look a little bit more gray. But then with the Distress Ink, I got a lot more gray. And it's still Lost Shadow. So you can really tell the difference between the oxide and the ink. And let's see, a couple more to show you. This is Bundled Sage Distressed Oxide, and I really thought that was pretty. Again, very subtle light greens. I really like that one. I thought that was really pretty. I would definitely use that. And then this is Distressing Salvage Patina. And this one I thought looked a lot like the Peacock one with the Distress Oxide. So it's got some turquoisey kind of color in it. Very pretty. This is another gray Hickory Smoke. This got more gray, but look at how there's green in it as well. So they mix some of the pigments or inks that they put together. It'll bleed out into the other ones. This is Ground Espresso Distress Ink. And I don't know if you can see, there's colors. There's greens, there's browns, there's tans, there's almost a pinkish color in there. I really like that too. Now, oh, here's one more Distress Oxide I did. This was Chipped Sapphire, and it's kind of a blue, but there's pink, purple, and blues in it. Very pretty. It's not as purple as Wilted Violet. It's got more blues in it. But that was really pretty too. And then just to experiment, because I didn't know, I thought, well, what could I use like a VersaFine Clear? Well, this is oil-based. It really did not work very good at all. It didn't pick up much of the color at all. And so I would not advise, oil and water don't mix. So that I wouldn't do that again. And I only did the one, and I realized it's not good. So I'm going to push this to the side. I'm going to clean off this because I have dried up ink on here. And I'm going to show you how to do it because it's so easy. I'll start with, I have to put some gloves on, and I'm going to dry this off. I'll start with the inks like Gi Kerr did, but she sometimes put several colors on one. Like she had a lot of white on hers when she got done. And I didn't really want a lot of white. So I did it a little different than she did. So what you do is you wet your seam tape. Oh, and I'm going to put gloves on too. Because otherwise I might have to do dishes again to get my hands clean. Yesterday I got some on my hands. But it comes off eventually. Wash your hair or wash dishes. So I'm just going to show you how I did these, and then you can experiment. And I jumped right in without saying hello even, or, you know, hope you're doing well and all that. So I hope that is. I'm going to try to do it on the white so that you can see it a little better. But this is a distress spray. It's called Faded Jeans. So I kind of sprayed it on both sides, kind of, and try to make sure that I get some on all of it. Now, it does lighten up when it dries. And if you want it darker, you can spray more on, and you'll actually get it a little darker. But I think this is going to be good. Now, if you don't want it as wrinkled as I had, just kind of lay it out like that, and it'll be a little wrinkled, but not a lot. I'm going to just put that over there to dry. And I am going to, got some off my hands. I need to clean my gloves off, because I'm going to contaminate color to color. Good thing that one's a blue too. And so I'm going to wipe that up, and then I'm going to use my paper towel to dry it. Get as much off my gloves as I can. And this is a Distress Oxide. I'm shaking it up more. See, I already have some blue on there because I touched it with my glove. Okay, this is Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide. So this is a much more turquoisey color, and very different from the Faded Jeans. So I am making sure that I get everything. And I know parts of it are going to get lighter, but I shouldn't have any white on. If you like white, don't mix it as much on here. So that's that color. I think that's pretty too. But easy peasy to do it. Now I'm going to show you how to do some with Distress ink. And I'm going to do some more browns. Get as much off as I can so I don't cross-contaminate the colors. Okay, I'm going to try Vintage Photo Tea Dyed Wild Honey, Scorched Timber, and Black Soot. Can only do one at a time. So let's start with, I'll start with this tea dye one. To do it with the ink, you take your pad and you get ink onto your glass mat or whatever you're working on. And then I put some water on it. And I also have to wet the, it goes on it a lot easier if you have this a little bit wet, because it kind of helps it wick. Whoops. Okay. I can tell this tea dye is a little bit more, might even be more peachy color when it's done. It's a very pretty color. Okay, put that over here. Wipe up. All right, and let's see. I'll try this. This is kind of an orangey wild honey. Grab some more seam binding. Okay, and then dip it. They do look a little bit different when they're dried, so it is kind of an experiment to see what you'll get. This looks like it's going to have oranges and yellows. And depending, you know, I probably could have used a little bit less of that because I wasted a little bit of it. All right, let's try Vintage Photo. You can also iron this stuff too if you want, you know. If you don't want it crinkly at all, it works just fine to iron it. So I've been having fun. I've got a lot of this done. I think if you could match colors, whatever you're looking for in a journal, you could make just some for that journal. Put a little more water on that. This will be more tan when that dries. More off-white, tannish color. All right, I think I'll just take this and wipe off. All right, I got a couple more to try. This is Scorched Timber, which is kind of a greenish, blackish gray. Get this a little wet. And we'll dip it. I can see browns in here, gray. You can see what the color is on the white. It's a nice color too. I like that. It'll be lighter when it dries. And now let's see how we do with black. That's the last one. Look at it, it's a bluish, it's a blue based black. You've got lots of it on there. All right, I'm going to crumple this up a little bit in my hand and get that in there. Sure, it'll be black to gray, but it's kind of a blue based black, so it might even have a little blue in it when we're done. Ooh, I like that too. Very, very nice. I got one more piece of stuff cut, so and no more to do, so I'm going to try doing the leftovers onto here. It'll probably be a lot lighter because a lot of it's already picked up. Without putting more on. Yep. It's blackish gray, but it's still, it picked up, you know, the rest of the color that was on here. So that's it for today. Try making yourself some bias colors of seam binding and see what you get when it dries. Like I said, doing it with the distress gives you a total different look sometimes than doing it with the just the distress. Oh, excuse me, I would have turned it off. That came on too fast. I'm so sorry. But anyway, distress oxide gives you a bit different than distress spray. Either doing it with the ink pads or the bottles. But that is how you do it, and it's easy, and I think you'd like it if you tried it. So I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to do something you love today and every day, because that's the secret to happiness. This is Carol from Friendly Quill saying bye.